Hi everybody, Melanie here and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the dangers in being too nice. What do I mean about being too nice? Perhaps being a bit too agreeable, having a tendency to always put your needs to one side to look after another person. Now, we need niceness, we need nice people in the world, it's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when what's motivating it is coming from a place from the past of wanting to prove to someone else that I'm a good person. And as such, when we come into a relationship, a new friendship, and that unconscious desire is driving it to want to prove to this person, hey, look, I'm worthy of being in relationship. I want to be seen. I want to be told that I'm a good person. And so they can be overly attentive, rescuing people who remind them of people from the past, in the hopes that in rescuing this person that maybe they can make themselves feel better because of the past. Maybe it's just a pattern in repeating what's familiar, to want to give all your time and energy away to people that you feel sorry for. Look, there is nothing wrong with being nice, okay? This is a quality that we need. We need agreeableness, we need love in the world, we need compassion, we need helpfulness. The problem is when this is accentuated, the drive to do this for another, to go out of our way to help another person, to rescue a person, even though it comes too much at our own cost, a cost for our own sanity, our time, our energy, and yet we keep doing this. The problem that most caretakers, rescuers, people pleasers, etc., the main issue that they have is that they end up getting used by people who tend to be highly narcissistic, people who have personality disorders, people who are just nasty, psychopathic, don't care, maybe just everyday people who saw an opportunity for them to get something from you, and you being too nice and not standing up for yourself allowed it. So whether that's you keep doing things for a certain friend that you've made, and this friend will just keep expecting this from you now, and then you start to get a bit angry, maybe a bit resentful, like, why do you keep asking me to do things from you when you never reciprocate? You just, what the slightest things are, often people want to keep pushing their boundaries. And this is especially the case when you date someone personality disordered. They constantly move the goalposts of expectations. And so this is the danger of when we start dating someone who just laps up your kindness and they exploit it. And what they do is they like to really get in there with their guilt trips, because they know that you'll put everything to one side and you will do what they want. You will submit, you will agree, you will take the blame for whatever's going on. They seek out people who are way too nice in this respect. There's also a problem with if you can relate to just giving your time and energy away to people too easily. If you can relate to wanting to rescue people all the time, remember that not everyone wants to be rescued. Okay, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. Often for the rescuers out there, this need to want to rescue, to look after others, often comes from a place in the past where we didn't feel worthy, we weren't seen, we didn't feel the love and appreciation from our family, and it became a habit to look after, to rescue. Maybe we had to as a kid. Maybe we actually had to look after an ill parent or a dysfunctional parent. We had to be the parent and they were the child. And as such now, we tolerate behaviours from others who remind us of that parent. We end up getting into old caretaking, rescuing patterns because we want to prove to this person perhaps, yes, I'm worthy of being loved, of being seen. If I do this for you, if I make you happy, then I'm happy. If you can relate to being too agreeable, then perhaps you can also relate to times when you actually say no to someone, when you put some boundaries in place. People can be surprised. And if it's someone who has BPD or NPD, then you can bet that they will get angry. Someone with BPD is going to really react to when you say no to them after so long of always saying yes to them. And as such, it can actually be really hard for someone who's learning to set healthy boundaries can be really triggering then to start saying no, because when they say no to their BPD partner, then they're going to get shamed. They're going to get all this anger put on them. And really it's coming from a place of the person listening to it not liking your boundaries, but instead of actually admitting that, instead they want to blame you and shame you, get angry with you. And if you can't see what's happening, if you're largely unconscious as to what's going on, it's easy to go to a place of, okay, it was my fault for saying no, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have put boundaries, I should have done or said what my ex wanted me to do. It's easy to get sucked into that. So partly why I'm making this video, just because you say no, you put in some healthy boundaries with your partner, with your friend. If someone is really reactive to this, if they used to benefit from you not having boundaries and now you've put them in place, people who are toxic, people who want to just use you, people who aren't actually good for you, they will react, they will kick and scream. People who are good for you will understand, okay? You don't need to throw away your boundaries to keep your disordered partner or ex happy. Same with friends as well. There needs to get to a point when you're so sick of having your time and your energy used up. Now is the time to think, do I really want to be giving so much of myself away to someone who is not reciprocating, to someone who just keeps wanting more and more and more and more and more, someone who keeps moving the goalposts of expectation every time you give in. So if you can relate to this, if you see yourself as a people pleaser and a caretaker, rescuer, just being a bit too nice, not assertive enough, and you feel like this is really hindering you, that you keep attracting people who are just not good for you, what do? First of all, really sit with any underlying motivations behind your behavior. So our temperament is what we're born with, it's largely genetic. However, personality, which gets shaped over time through environment and experiences, some of which can mean that we develop coping mechanisms, and one of which may be going into a caretaker rescuer role. And the more we do it without realizing we're doing it, the more we keep doing it on impulse, the harder it is to get out of it sometimes. If our role growing up in the past was a caretaker or rescuer, that means as an adult, we will tolerate these kind of behaviors from friends, from partners, from co-workers. If they remind us of a figure from the past, say mum or dad, and you're used to their behavior, you'll tolerate it. It's easy for you to slip into this role. You know how to manage it. Actually, you kind of feel safe and familiar in this. It's familiar territory to you. The problem is that when we keep repeating the past, when we keep repeating what is known, we need to dig deeper into why we're doing this. Otherwise, the consequences of the repetition to do this is going to blow up in our face. We're going to attract dangerous people into our lives. We're going to make our health worse. We're going to deplete ourselves. We're not going to spend enough time for ourselves because we're always giving it to someone else. So really take a moment to think, are there tendencies in me to do this? Take a moment to think, am I trying to prove myself because of stuff that's happened in the past? Am I living out a long guilt trip from the past? Am I trying to prove to my friend or my partner that I'm worthy of being seen, of being loved, if I do this for the other person? Follow your anger. If you're angry at people, at your friends, and you won't really admit it, but you know the anger's there because you keep giving and they're always taking and they're not reciprocating. Listen to your anger. Angers are telling you to put healthy boundaries in place. Practice being more assertive every day, saying no, the polite, smiling no, when you think, you know what, I actually want to put my needs first. And notice how you feel. Do you feel anxious doing it? Do you feel like you're going to be out of relationship if you do it? Pay attention and push yourself to still say no. If you want to build better boundaries, if you want to become more assertive and better at saying no, then you need to catch yourself when you find yourself on impulse wanting to slip into fawning kind of mechanisms, in saying yes when you really meant no. Catch yourself when you see yourself slipping into old ways in which you are self-sabotaging yourself, saying yes to someone else when you really meant to be saying yes to yourself. Catch yourself when you see yourself slipping into this, and then test yourself. What would it be like actually to say no this time? Do you feel anxious that you're going to be out of relationship? You know, part of building better boundaries, pushing yourself and getting out of your comfort zone and really identifying what are your needs. Listen to your anger. Your anger will tell you if you are giving too much of your time and energy away. Ultimately, we need to start a practice of being more observant about how we slip into certain behaviors as a way of dealing with struggle, dealing with confrontation. To stop ourselves from slipping into old patterns requires being observant, being mindful of what's going on. And it requires us to push ourselves to do this. It's not easy, is it? But the more we can practice being assertive, being discerning about whom we share our time and energy with, the better our lives will be. And to really sit with any pain of thinking, I'm not a good person if I don't do this, this, and that. Someone with BPD, for example, if you dated someone with a personality disorder, then it's really easy to believe that when they've devalued you because you didn't do what they said, that you are a bad person. But no, you weren't enabling them. They were devaluing you based on their own perceptions of reality, which is distorted. What someone sees of you isn't necessarily the all of you. Your borderline ex didn't see all of you. Your personality disordered ex didn't see you truly for who you are and all of you. These are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a great day, and until next time, bye for now.